Hello there. The current EastEnders creative team must be the most laziest creative team that EastEnders has had on many a year. How many more old characters are they going to bring back to this show? Already we know that Paul Coker is leaving. Well, that didn't take long, did it? Was it under a year, just over a year? I've lost count. He wasn't a very long-running character. And the lad wasn't a great actor, it wasn't a good character, and it was just another attempt by Dominic Treadwell Collins to do a gay storyline. If you want to do gay storylines, do them, but give them depth, give them meaning like you would any other storyline. Don't just throw it in there so you can say, oh look what I'm doing. And that's what EastEnders does all the time, isn't it? It goes, look what we're doing, look who we've cast. It's not enough. You've got to write proper stories with proper characters that are going to places. This is not the reason why EastEnders was created. EastEnders was created to be a gritty social drama. Now, of course, we must move with the times and we must evolve. EastEnders has devolved, it hasn't evolved, and that's the problem. So the big news earlier this year, Ross Kemp returns as Grant Mitchell to come back for Peggy's big exit, death, whatever you want to call it. First of all, did we need Peggy to do a big death? No, but it brings the ratings up. Do we need Grant Mitchell back? Well, it will be all, when Grant Mitchell was originally in EastEnders, I looked up to him, and I looked up to Ross Kemp, excellent actor, playing an excellent character. But he's not going to be done justice. He will come back, it will be so crap, it will be so cringy, it won't work, just like it didn't work with Nick Cotton. He came back, we barely saw him in his run, and then they just killed him off to make a mute point in the anniversary episode. It really goes from bad to worse. If you remember rightly, I was being really positive about the show when the new year hit, because the Stacey mental illness storyline was really taking effect again, and they did that really well. But as I warned you at the time, it would go back to basics, and it wouldn't be long until I would be moaning again. And guess what? I'm moaning again. Now, as you know, my Facebook page is called I Want to Run EastEnders. It's not just called that just because I thought, oh, that'd be fun, could call an EastEnders page. It's not an ordinary EastEnders page. Yes, I'm going to break news and talk about what's going on, but I'm also going to post my EastEnders fiction Black Widow, because that's what I want to do with the show. If I got my greasy little Mediterranean hands on EastEnders, that's what I'd want to do. I would implement my Black Widow storyline. And I've posted what kind of things I want to do. For it will be revolve around the crime war, as a lot of you already know who have been who liked the page a long time ago. That's what I want to do. I want to reveal that Mick Carter's true father is Dennis Watts. I want to reveal that Dennis Watts knew the crime war was coming and he was preparing it. He left a SoundCloud of messages for Mick Carter to read, and to try and help him along the way. He left people to help him and train him so he can lead a resistance against this crime war. Now, while this is going on, I would still have the soapy storylines, but as the backdrop. Now, I've said this before a billion times, but I'm going to repeat myself because I believe EastEnders has the potential to be so much more than what we're getting now. It's there. Albert Square, the East End, do something really special. The other soaps really don't have this potential. You can't imagine Coronation Street having a crime war in the middle of the street, but EastEnders isn't about the street. Yes, it's always been focused in Albert Square, and there'll be a lot going on there in my story, in my fiction areas, but it's called EastEnders. So you can focus the geographical aspect of it a lot further out than Albert Square. It's Walford. It's the Walford crime war, not the Albert Square crime war. That's what I'm talking about. And who started this crime war? In my fiction, the mysterious Black Widow, and that's how it all starts. People not knowing who she is and what she's up to. It gets the audience thinking. Imagine it actually happening in the show. But what EastEnders is now, because the BBC want to create a childish juvenile soap, and that's what it's become. As I spoke about before, their Twitter account and their Facebook account is very childish. Not the people's faults who run it. That's what they're told to do. EastEnders is trying to get the youth and pretty much telling people my age, I'm 43 by the way, to get lost. Well, that's fair enough, but I'm not going to get lost. I mean, I'm on and off, I watch it on and off just so I can talk about it and talk about the state of it, because it really isn't at a level that I want to watch consistently. You know, life's too short. I mean, any of us could like pop off tomorrow, and I don't want to waste my time watching a rubbish EastEnders. But it is rubbish and it is poor, and it hurts me that Tony Holland and Julia Smith's fantastic social drama has been destroyed. I even went on Instagram the other day feeling like I had to apologise to their families, because it must be disconcerting if you're a member of those families. Those people are dead now. While Tony and Julia were alive, even when they weren't on the show, the BBC were a bit too frightened to go against what they made the show. But now they're they've been taking it this horrible direction for over a decade. Again, as I've discussed many a time. It's time for you, the EastEnders fans who keep on watching it, not to. That's the only way you can affect change. By watching it, you're making them think it's still popular. As I've said many, many times. This is the moment, this is the time to stand up and say, we want EastEnders' potential to be realised. It's up to you. It's up to you. Do you want to see these very average actors coming onto the show? EastEnders used to have great actors. Wendy Richard, Bill Treater, Leslie Grantham, one of the best method actors I've ever had. You know, people talk about Leslie Grantham, he done away from EastEnders and talk about him negatively, but who cares about that? One of the things that's important is that Dirty Den needs fixing. Yes, he's dead, we can't bring him back, but there's other ways of making him a hero. And that's how I've done it in my fiction, through his SoundCloud that he left for Mick Carter, as we unravel the lie of who Mick's father is. It's not Buster, it wasn't Stan, it was always Dirty Den. And in my mind, Shirley was always lying about that in my fiction. But from the moment Danny Dyer was cast, I said, yes, he's taking over the Vic. This is poetic, this is ironic. He's got to be Dirty Den's son. I thought Dominic Treadwell Collins might have the imagination and the storytelling talent to actually do that. But obviously the man doesn't. Now, I have kind of respect for the man. He's done some good things, but not enough. Maybe that's down to the BBC and not him. But another showrunner's coming in. I've never heard of him. He's been in charge of the Archers before, worked on the Archers before. Archers is a radio soap. It's been around for years. So we'll see how that works out. But basically, guys, it's up to you. You have the power to implement change on EastEnders, to say, we know this guy who's got this idea, who's passionate, who loves the EastEnders, that will involve you, the fans, in the creative process. Because right now, they're just laughing at you. They're just doing what they want, and the BBC are laughing at you. Stop the laughing. Let's get serious. Let's make EastEnders one of the biggest shows in the world. Thank you very much.